My guest today is a behavioral science expert and an anti-hype marketing strategist. He helps businesses win trust, stand out in saturated markets, that's a good one, and drive sales with smarter, science-backed messaging that actually works. Welcome to Leadership That Sells. This is the podcast about the real conditions under which leadership and sales actually work and when they quietly break down. I talk to founders, to chief execs, to sales leaders and operators who've had to make the decisions when the effort was high, the pressure was real, but the playbooks just didn't bloody work. We're not here to talk about slogans. Well, I don't need any more frameworks in my life. We're looking for patterns, to try and surface patterns, things that create momentum. Look at what gets in the way and what experienced people eventually learn to stop doing. If you are responsible for results and not just ideas, you are absolutely in the right place. I want to say, Ranasinha, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm delighted to be invited, Paul. Thank you.
Tell me, you've got like a core philosophy of anti-hype marketing. When you look at that in terms of what your average sales bod tries to do in front of a customer, how does anti-hype help you build trust? How does being against that build trust?
I actually don't. I think the average sales bod, whatever that is, I don't honestly think that they're the problem. Now, if we go back traditionally, there's always this sort of, friendly rivalry. Well, I like to think of it friendly rivalry between sales and marketing. Marketing just say, well, we give them these leads, and the sales guys, all they need to do is turn up on the prospect and just get them to sign on the dotted line, and then they make
right?
zillions of commission, and they go home, and that's it. Easy day. It's 4-hour day for these guys, right? And then at the same time, on the other side of the net, the sales guys say marketing haven't got a clue. Right? They've never been at the coalface. They don't know what it's like. They're sending us these things that are they think are leads, but they're colder than a polar bear's left nut. I mean, they're just ridiculous. Marketing qualified leads nowhere near a sales qualified lead. They don't know they're born. They're absolutely useless, right? And then obviously as a result, you get these people who think they can be director of sales and marketing. Right, which I think is a total misnomer. You cannot be one and be the other. You can be one or you can be the other, but it is physically impossible for you to be both, to do both well, because of the outlook from a sales perspective against a marketing perspective. And it's easy to describe because sales is after pipeline 30, 60, 90, and marketing is looking further down to make sure that the value proposition, that the product, that the pricing, that the distribution, that all of that good stuff is still relevant for the sales team after 30, 60, 90.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a longer term view. Yeah. Right? The issue that we have within business is that the people who are defining the roles of marketing, i.e. the C-suite, generally speaking, the CEO, maybe the COO, maybe the HR person, haven't got a frigging clue what marketing is, and so are defining the role in terms of promotions or communications. Oh, marketing. Oh yeah, that's brochures and websites and stress balls and events and branded pens. That's what closes the deal. Right? Not value articulation, messaging, segmentation. No, none of that. It's about stress balls, tote bags,
websites.
Right? It's all of that tactical shit. No, it's not shit because it's important and it's a valuable part within the sphere of marketing. But unless you get the upstream stuff right, it's like when you do a bad prompt on AI, right? We've all been there, right? We're using what we think is the best AI of this week, half day, right? Okay. and we put in a prompt and it comes up with absolute total crap. Okay. And then we're sort of trying to recover from it, and we're swearing at it, and we're doing all of this stuff. Garbage in, garbage out. If you start off on the wrong foot, you're gonna get shite coming out the other end, right? It's a guarantee.
Like everything in life.
Like everything in life. So the problem that we're having with many, not all, there are some outliers, of course, but with, I'd say, 80-90% of small to medium-sized businesses, even larger businesses as well, is that the people who are doing, people with marketing in their job title haven't got a frigging clue what marketing is.
Yeah.
And the people who are hiring these people with marketing in their job title haven't got a frigging clue what marketing is. The blind leading the blind. So it's not exactly a revolutionary result when the whole thing collapses like a house of cards. Yep. Because none of us are doing the basics of what marketing is before we get to any of that tactical stuff.
Yeah. The tactical stuff I can outsource for £2.50.
Tactical stuff is easy.
I'll have
right?
a website
tactical
built
stuff.
this afternoon.
You know,
Claude Code will build me a website.
You get your prompt right, and your execution works, right? But it's the prompt which is the secret sauce. That's the 11 herbs and spices, right? That's where it all starts from. Right? And we're not doing that.
No.
So it's not a surprise when the whole thing slaps us around the face. And the thing is, like, if you're employing, supposing you're employing a finance person, right? Yeah. You're probably going to ask them that they're a member of some, finance organization, Chartered Institute of Finance, something. Yep. You've got a bunch of exams, degrees, this, that, and the other. And, excuse me, how you do your work, what tools you use to do your work, for me, I'm one of those people who uses like 3% of what Excel can do. And to be honest, I don't really need to use Excel anyway, but it comes with Office, so I figured, well, I might as well boot it up. I mean, I've got it, right? But, you see somebody who knows how to use finance software and Excel, because they're not mutually exclusive. I mean, they're wizards. They're absolute, gifted people. But we don't ask them how they do it, do we? Right? We let them get on with it.
Yeah.
And we judge them on their results. We judge them on what their output is. But for some reason, anybody and their spouse can have an input on the process of marketing.
It's because we all see adverts. We think it's advertising.
So we think that our opinion is as relevant as somebody who is experienced and or educated in the field that we are commenting on, right? Now, I don't turn round to a finance guy and say, you know what? See that finance report you kicked out? I thought it was a pile of shit, right? I don't say that, because what is he going to he's going to turn around and say, well, I don't really care what you think, bud, right? Stick in your own lane, right? You haven't got a frigging clue what you're talking about. And I'll say, you know what? You're absolutely right. I haven't got a Scooby-Doo about what I'm talking about. I'm going to get out of your lane. Much apologies. Carry on as you were. But in marketing, all bets are off. Anybody can have an opinion. I don't want to use a elbows and arseholes analogy because that's been done to death. But anybody can have an opinion. And what happens is so many organizations is that the marketing manager, the VP marketing, the whatever, turns out to be your next door neighbor's friend's, best friend's daughter's dog, right? And they're all of us, because they've got a MacBook Pro and a subscription to Canva, that makes them a marketer, and various pierced appendages, right? They can be whoever they want, and they drink flat whites and sit in Starbucks in the corner all day.
Kombucha,
they must be a marketer.
Maybe kombucha is all the way.
Ah, yes, of course.
Out of date.
Yeah, absolutely. And that summarize is the issue. I think it comes. I mean, the root can go further back because of the way marketing works, because it doesn't fit within the rational, logical, mathematical processes that are that govern every other area of the business. Let me explain. Okay, so finance. I mean, most CEOs, for example, have come from a finance and engineering, a economics type background. Certainly a CFO would have done. Operations. It's very orthodox. It's very pragmatic. It's very logical. It's very Newtonian in its thought processes. Okay, 2 + 2 is always 4. Okay, and if you're looking at systems thinking, and seeing how the component parts work together as a whole, and by optimizing one area of the system can have an overly powerful effect on the result of the entire output of the system, all great. Okay. Except in marketing doesn't work like that, because we're not dealing with logic, rationality, Newtonian physics.
Except that we are. Except that we are, right?
Tell me.
In marketing, typically, I think 2 + 2 = pineapple. Right? But
yes,
the reality is, when you scrape away the branded pencils and the squish balls and I'm the new CFO, I'm the new marketing manager, the first thing we need to do is rebrand our website. When you get back to the basics and you actually think about what a marketeer has to deliver to the business, they have to deliver pipeline, not leads, not anything else, pipeline. It's a cash number. And if they don't deliver pipeline, like you said, you wouldn't ask the finance person how they're doing what they're doing, or question it. A good marketeer, if you say, you need to deliver me that, 10 of these pipeline things, so I can have 3 of them at the end of it, because it's a 3-to-1 or a 4-to-1 ratio, or whatever the hell it is I'm doing, right? I need to do 1 million. I need 4 million in pipe. Okay? Pipeline. Now, pipeline is not the same as a forecast. A pipeline is out of quarter, a forecast is in quarter. So you have 2 conversations. One is the pipeline, and where are we, and how is things going, and do we need some more squishy balls to talk about, or whatever it is. But that's a way down the journey, which the pipe that they're providing is at the end of that funnel, which you then pull towards the quarter, push it in the quarter, and that becomes your forecast. I want $1 million, $4 million of pipe, so I can close $1 million of business. Go do. And if they come back and say, here's an MQL, you roll it up tightly, lubricate it, and bend them over. Shove it up their jacksie, because it's bugger all use. So that's the rationality of it. I just think we're not making the right prompt, to use your word.
No, I think we're backseat drivers, because we're telling them they are telling us. Let's say we're telling them, right? They're telling us what they want, but they're also telling us how they want us to do it.
Yeah.
Without having any knowledge, education, or experience about how buyers make buying decisions, and the internal and external contextual influences which have a positive or negative effect on those buying decisions, and allow us to frame that messaging, the communication, in a way that predisposes a leaning towards a more favourable result from a decision over the medium or longer term. How we do that is nobody's business but ours. When we don't deliver it, kick us out, right? Just like in sales, there are the in-your-face, shiny suited, pencil moustached salespeople, men included, right? Or there are the
modern world,
right, or there are the laid-back, consultative, selling without selling type salespeople. Okay, both of them deliver results. How they deliver it are different ways, different points of view. And certain prospects are more amenable and receptive to one or the other. But as long as they deliver the numbers, how they do it is up to them. No?
Ish. Ish.
Tell me.
I'm
Tell
with
me.
you
You
on
don't
this.
agree. Tell me.
I agree on the concept, but not when it comes to trying to amplify this. Because we talked earlier on about you're looking like your CFO, your CEO is looking to pull a lever.
Yeah.
And if I pull this lever harder, something over there moves. So I can put £1 into this engine here and £5 comes out the other side. And if I keep putting £2 in, I get 10, £3 in, 15. If you've got a school, a cohort, I don't know what the collective noun for a group of salespeople is, a debauch of salespeople.
I can think
Think
of
of some,
many possible adjective nouns, but let's move on.
a chaos of salespeople.
Yeah.
When it should be a regimen of salespeople. If you've got one relationship guy, one data girl, one luck guy, these different styles, the individual style I think is fine, but what's the uniformity that I can scale?
Output, results,
And how do I do that if you've got 25 different people all working in different ways?
No, but their target is consistent.
Yes.
No, it may be relative,
Yeah.
but it's consistent,
Mhm.
right? Somebody who's by your or my yardstick isn't a Glengarry Glen Ross type salesperson going for the jugular, okay, and is compensated accordingly, would be targeted at a different level to somebody who was more laid back and more consultative and maybe more of a team player, bringing in pre-sales and technical and God knows whoever else to actually, depending on whatever it was selling. Okay. And then also I think it depends on the products and obviously the sales process, right? If you're talking about a sales process of, 6, 9, 12 plus months, then the incentive package is going to be structured differently, of course. But if you're targeted on a result, how you achieve that result. If I get into an Uber and I want to go from here to there, okay, Uber is telling me it's going to cost me £15, euro, dollars, yen, whatever. All right. The route that the Uber driver takes, I don't really care, do I?
No.
As long as I'm not stuck in traffic. I mean, if his GPS, because he's not doing anything, is he or she? They're just looking at whatever Google Maps is telling them to do, right? But if they find a back street that shaves off, 5 minutes of my journey, maybe he gets 5 stars and a bigger tip, but the actual cost of the journey remains the same. Yeah. And as far as he is concerned, his incentivification is the same. So how he gets there is irrelevant. He can be better, but there is a fixed minimum. And surely that should be the same for sales. I know we're going off the subject slightly.
No, we are, but it's a good point. It's a good point.
Tell me.
Yes, I'm with you.
Because you're reluctantly with me because it doesn't seem to fit comfortably with you.
I think it's simply because I've seen teams of hundreds of salespeople with 20 different ways and 20 different approaches. And yes, you incentivize them all on 7% of new business. That's great. Okay. But the two pressures that any operator of any business is under is capital and time.
Right.
Okay. And you can take as long as you like to do it, as long as you take less than 6 months, because that's what we've got.
Yeah, but this is part of your target. This is part of your incentive, part of your 30, 60, 90, right? When you're looking at your forecasts, right?
The forecast is the result of the effort put in. It is rare to see an incentive plan that really has a coherent time-bound element to it.
Why do you think that is?
Because it's too bloody hard to manage. I've tried. I've put in, if you close this, because you're looking at revenue recognition as well, right? If you close it at the beginning of the year, you get more because we're doing bookings. Right. Okay, so salespeople are paid in bookings.
And all sorts of things.
Yeah, I'm paid them. The sales guys paid in bookings, but the business recognizes revenue as one little slice of a sausage over 12 months. So if you pay earlier on or later on, it just doesn't bloody work. It doesn't. I've tried this couple of years in a row, I've tried different. I had the privilege of being able to mess around with this sort of stuff for quite a bit. And you can pay people a percentage on bookings. They have to be able to work it out in their head. That's the thing. The only differentiator I think of a good sales plan and a bad one is that the sales board can say, if I sell 100 grand, I'm going to get 6. That's it. Because I can divide that by a number. End of that. If they have to go, oh, well, if it's the beginning, end of multiple season of
No,
divided by
they need to know
quotient
basis.
of the moon's distance
Yeah.
from Mars and
Right.
Tuesday.
They don't. Yeah. There's a need to know basis element to be put into that, but that's surely part of our job as sales leaders, sales managers, SVPs, whatever, CROs, whatever that may be, to present the package, the incentive in a way that's easily digestible, right? Just as marketing 101 is you adapt your language to the audience that you're being provided to, right?
Yeah.
It's doing the same thing internally, right? So all of the mathematics that's going on in your head stops there. And a facade is presented in front of the sales team to say, do this and you get first class tickets to Disney World.
There you
right?
go. I like that. That's it.
Do you see what I mean?
Aye.
So there's just needs to be this pause between mind and mouth, if you like.
Good luck.
So that we adapt our, it's just like what marketing does. Well, marketing should do. We actually internally, I don't think we do a very good job of selling marketing within the organization. But that's a different topic. But it's adapting the verbiage to the audience. And so if you're focused around a bunch of sales professionals who are incentivized in a certain way, it's presenting that incentive in a certain way as easily and as digestible as possible. And like I said, it's a relative number rather than an absolute number because of the differences in sales techniques and closure rates and all the rest of it. Right.
That was.
I also think, I mean, it's interesting conversational sales. I don't often have a conversation about sales like this, so it's great for me from a purely selfish position because I am firmly of the belief that I don't think you can be an exceptional marketer unless you've been in sales at some level. Even retail, it doesn't really matter, but unless you've been at the coalface, unless you've been in front of a prospect and created the conditions to influence a positive decision, I don't think you can do that remote control in a marketing role.
Created the conditions to influence a positive decition. That's behavioral science. That is which you.
I should be in marketing, shouldn't I?
You should. Which is what a good idea. Which I think. I mean, I'm working as chief executive of a little VR training company just now. It's great fun. And we brought on our marketing team. First thing I did is I went out to grab by the throat a phenomenal marketeer that I knew, and him and his team are now firmly ensconced.
Great.
And we got them talking to customers on day whatever it was. You got to speak to customers. Got to talk to our customers, because if they don't understand the heck's going on in their minds, how can you talk to them? You know. If you can't,
marketing's job is to bring the voice of the customer into the organization, ideally into the boardroom, right? You can only do that if you can. The problem with any organization is they are looking at the customer, at the client. And marketing's job is to be behind the eyeballs of the customer, looking out towards the business. And until you can do that, until you can talk to customers, until you can stand in your own queues, until you can actually see what is obvious to buyers, but is less obvious to you, through lack of attention or process or just accepting the status quo. It's, it's like you move to a new house, right? And the first things, some people, there's two schools of people. Some people go in and they get a bigger mortgage or get a loan and whatever else, and they redo every room in the house from scratch right when they move in. Okay. The other school are people who say, well, we'll get round to these things as and when finances allow. Okay. When we get a bit of money, we'll start tackling the bathroom, or we'll tackle the kitchen, or we'll tackle the main bedroom. And what happens is you go to those people's houses, very nice houses, very cool, comfortable homes, but there's probably still cardboard boxes in a room, right? There's still probably, open pipes in a certain place, and they can't see it anymore because they've got comfortable with it, right? Two schools of thought. Not saying one way is better than the other, because obviously, option one puts you into a bigger hole than option two does, right? But I think
there's a tension, though. There's a tension. I love tension.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
The tension the tension between having it all done, okay? And I've seen there, because we were in the latter half. We moved into here 12, 13 years ago, ish. And, bought the place and went, holy fuck, what a dump. Ripped up the carpet. We basically went in, ripped up all the carpets, shag pile, 1974 style, hadn't been touched since.
Oh, lovely. Terry and June.
And underneath was the most beautiful parquet. However, that was a win. And painted every damn wall white. There. Painted every single wall white. And that was enough. And then gradually we realized there were bare pipes, so we had to do a bathroom. And my kid was born, and then. So the tension is, I think, between ripping out the website and changing the messaging and the branding and the logos and everything like that as the new VP of marketing and or sales, whatever. We're not selling enough, or the board has said that pipelines were shit, or whatever. You go in, you wave a big hammer, bash the walls down, or you go in and you say, well, what's just enough? And the difference I look at this is I've seen neighbors and friends move in somewhere, rip out the kitchen, put in a new one, and then go, oh, if only this was over here.
If only we waited.
We moved in. Kitchen took like 4 years because we're skint brassic.
Yeah.
Couldn't rub two coins together. I'll tell you a joke. Do you know how copper wire was invented? Copper wire.
Copper wire. Go ahead. No.
Two Scotsmen fighting over a penny, stretching it out.
Love it.
There you go. So we moved in and we lived with a kitchen, which was kind of scrappy, but okay, for years until we could afford to put a new one in. And then we knew exactly where it had to go.
Because you'd had the time to think about it. But the thing is, when you move into a house, there's two levels of work, right? There's stuff that you can put up with, and there's triage.
There's water flowing through the ceiling.
Right. and when we moved to our home, the kitchen, I mean, seriously, I was expecting yellow tape around it, It was a health hazard. The whole thing had to be just thrown away and burnt instantly.
Flamethrower.
Right? Yeah, that was it was the only option. There was not, but, and I'm fully with you, because there are times when you can, you have an idea for a room and it's your first idea, and 99 times out of 100, your first idea is never the idea you run with, is it? Yeah. Right? And you have to live in that room and understand that room. Feel the dimensions of that room. Even when you lay out furniture and stuff within that room, it's going to influence the type of decor and color and lighting and goodness knows whatever else. And that takes time. Now, sometimes it may take years. Absolutely. But if it's not, to use your example, there's not water leaking, or there's black mold in the corner, or, rats or whatever, stuff going on like that. It's not a catastrophe, is it?
No.
So I can't remember how we got on to talking about homes and ripping up carpets and finding.
Well, let's go backwards, because that's always a fascinating challenge to try and work out how the hell you got there, isn't it? So
rewind the thread.
Essentially, we're talking about the marketeer who moves in and rips everything out. And we were
Yeah, well,
talking before that.
they're just pissing in the corner, aren't they? They're just marking their territory so that when they're out the door in 18 months' time,
Which
they
is
can
a
still
thing.
say, yeah.
Look what I did.
They can say, there's my logo, there's my website. And it's just a dog marking their territory. Nothing more than that.
But it's the delivery
logo,
thing.
changing logos is
Please.
it's just a pet hate of mine,
Aviva. What a fucking stupid name. Aviva. It sounds like mineral water. Aviva, it's a big insurance company, right?
Yes.
They had Norwich Union.
Yes.
Beautiful, prestigious British name.
And
Some
a wonderful
marketeer come
series
along,
of
twatted all over it.
campaigns that they ran for, I don't know, decades.
Same damn thing.
But didn't they get acquired or something by some...
Aviva.
Right.
By whoever it was, some Sun Alliance, and then they put them all together or something. It was something like that, yeah.
Right, yeah.
And then some twatty marketeer came out, we have a new brand. It's, Shatola, whatever.
Yes, you don't have a new brand, you have a new name.
That's it. Anyway, so the challenge was, and the way we got this was people working in the selling role. The marketeer has never sold. Will come in, rip out the website. The marketeer has never talked to a buyer. Will come in and try and change the world without understanding what the world is, without understanding what curtains do. Why there were.
That's how we got on there. That's how we got there about talking to customers.
Yeah, there are heavy curtains in the front room here. They look terrible. Let's rip them out, and then you realise the sun melts the telly every time it shines or something like that.
Yes,
you don't know,
absolutely.
You don't know the legacy. You don't know why.
Unless if you've got marketing in your job title, unless you're speaking with customers on a regular basis, constantly, you don't know what you don't know. Yeah. You don't know what's bothering them today, what's bothering them tomorrow, what the problems that they are looking for someone like you to solve. And that doesn't mean that you just listen to what they say, because customer centricity is another total pile of horseshit as far as I'm concerned, because most customers, if not all customers, will tell you what they think you want to hear, right? But it is a valuable channel as part of a series of channels that you need to take input to when you create the insights to where you're moving your company 6 months, 3 years, decade down the line, from a strategic point of view. You need to have that input. But I also think that this is making me sound like an old fogey, and I'll throw that out straight away. But I think it is somewhat of a generational issue, is that people have an issue with speaking to people, speaking as in, the exercising of their vocal cords, in some shape or form. And I've been on so many sales meetings where we've discussed the state of play with a bunch of leads, and the response has been, well, they have a proposal. Okay, great. How long they've had it? Oh, it's been about a week. Have you followed up? Yes, I sent them a mail. Oh, really? You sent them a mail? Okay. When was that? 3 days ago. Okay. Did you phone them? And then they'll look at you like you've just dropped from Jupiter. Yeah. And it's like, for
Pick
phone?
up the frickin' phone!
Phone? What do you mean? Do you mean text? Do you mean WhatsApp?
No. I mean,
not at
good
all.
old-fashioned Skype. Oh, good grief. Whatever.
Oh, no.
Voice.
R.I.P. Skype. Yeah, but just speaking with people seems to be a trait that has fallen out of favor. I mean, it'll come back round, like vinyl did, right? But people have this issue that they think they can do everything by remote control. And then they wonder why it can't be when you're talking about sales, which is, primarily a personality-driven exercise, or heavily influenced. Obviously, if you've got a crap product, it's going to be an uphill battle. And so excluding that from the conversation and thinking that you can do the whole thing virtually I mean, if they had a little bit of forethought, they could assume that, well, why does the company need me in the first place then? I could be replaced as an AI agent. Right. But they can't see that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they don't want to see that.
To be outsourced.
If you can train somebody to do your job perfectly, you can train AI to do your job perfectly, in which case we don't need you to do your job anymore. And because AI will obviously scale quasi-infinitesimally, right? Infinitely. So, where's the secret sauce? Why should we as an organization still keep you
on a massive salary?
It has to be from your sparkling personality, right?
And it's exactly that. It's exactly you're hired because of your humanity and your ability to connect to other people and to persuade them to do things that they really do want to do. That's it.
Yes, they want to. They want to be convinced. What prospects want more than anything else, they want to know that they're not buying a lemon. They're not making a wrong decision.
Trust.
Right? And that's what all of us are selling. Everybody. The first time, the first interaction that any buyer has with an organization is nothing to do with the product, the brand, the mood board, the color scheme. No, right? We're all selling the same thing. We're selling trust. And if those signals aren't there, consciously as well as unconsciously, behaviorally, that feeling, right? Those neurons firing off in the amygdala at the back of our brains, telling us whether it's a fight or flight response, we're not going to buy from that person. And therefore that organization.
Totally. There is one marvelous thing, going back to your point there about the marketeers talking to people. There's a marvelous angle that we have now that we didn't have before, which is call recordings.
Yes.
We've got thousands of hours of call recordings with hundreds of customers. And that is a mine of information. You feed that into the clever tools, the AI tools, and you ask, give me the language they're using. Give me the sentiment.
Absolutely.
Give me the thing. And that
totally
is
agree.
just, excuse me, that's my new marketing campaign. I'm done. I'm just done. Turn this into 3 posts, but base it on this data. Don't make it up out of your arse. And you're done.
And it writes your website. It writes your newsletters.
Please.
It writes your SEO. It writes everything.
Yeah.
Now, it may not be technically, and this is when you need to keep the engineers away, keep the geeks away, because it may not be technically correct. Oh, no. Our product doesn't work like that. It works like this.
Make it work like that.
STFU, it doesn't matter. Perception is reality. The buyer considers our product working in this way. And as long as we're not lying, that's how we describe it, because that's how they're looking for it. That's how they're searching. That's how they want to buy. And it's very easy. This is especially within obviously technical driven companies. When the founder CEO was actually the lead developer back in the day and is thinking very much in terms of, lines of code and this sort of thing, very pragmatic, very matter of fact type way. That's not what we're selling. We're not selling source code. Right, we're selling application. We're selling we're selling an outcome. We're selling a result,
impact, value, impact,
and the articulation of that value as most appropriate for the particular profile of audience or audiences that we have chosen to attract. Easy when you say it like that, isn't it?
Job done. We can all go home.
Exactly. Early bath.
That's us. Tell you what, from a behavioral point of view, what is something, because it's always nice to come out with one little takeaway. Yeah, I've given up on frameworks and stuff like that, and I'm sure everybody's got dozens of them. Yeah, Cialdini's 7 favorite ways of doing something, whatever. What's the one thing an operator could do just now that will help their teams just be a bit more human and less pitch machine-like?
One thing I think it's understanding let's talk about pricing. Okay, there's a number of ways of coming to the formula of pricing. The most basic being cost plus X%, right? We work out what it costs to make our widget, and we stick a percentage on the top, allowing for discounts, dealer margins, whatever that may be. But that may have absolutely nothing to do with the perceived value of what we're selling to the customer. Absolutely nothing. Okay? If you buy a Ferrari for 200 grand, right? If you take the whole thing apart and add up the cost of the pieces, right? Not buying them from Ferrari, obviously. The cost is a hell of a lot less than the price of a fully constructed automobile. The difference is the narrative, is the story, is the utility, is the brand. Okay? Price isn't just a number. To an economist, to a finance person, right? One person buying one thing 3 times is the same thing as 3 people buying one thing once. And it's not. Price isn't a number, it's a feeling. How we present a discount, for example, can dramatically change its perceived value. Okay, we can say 50% extra free, or we can say 33% off. Now, depending on what we're selling, that creates a totally different attitude in the mind of the buyer. So it's not about what we're selling; it's about what people are buying.
And why?
You know, I mean, that's one example. I mean, we can go on about. I mean, you know, one of your pet subjects is cognitive biases, right? So like the IKEA effect, you know, we don't value what's easy, we value what we earn. Okay. So, you know, building something, thinking that we've made it, we create more value to it.
Mutual action plans all the way, baby.
Right. Sunk cost fallacy. I mean, you can go on and on and on. But if you're looking at something simple and something easy to sort of accept and take on board, look at your pricing, because 10 will get you 5 is the price that you've set is too darn low. Yeah. It's too darn low.
Yeah, it is. If I gave you 10,000 billboards and the world's biggest marker pen, and you put one message on those billboards for the world to see, what would it be?
What we tolerate becomes our standard. Okay? You know, every business says that they value quality or customer experience or innovation or whatever. Okay? But what actually defines our standards isn't what we claim to value, it's what we're willing to let slide. You know? You know, if somebody misses a deadline and externally we don't see any consequences for that, we've set a new standard unconsciously, you know? If we accept work that's good enough, even though we know that it's not our best, we're saying that mediocrity is acceptable. You know? Supposing there's somebody in the sales team who's a real obnoxious git, and there always is in the sales teams.
Never met anyone like that.
The obnoxious git who's nonetheless a high performer, but oversteps their mark in a particular situation, right? And is allowed to get away with it. We're telling everybody exactly what we're really prioritizing. I mean, and that applies to clients too, right? I mean, for our agency, we turn down 70% of the inquiries we get, right? Because they don't smell right. Yeah. To want of a better term, okay? No, right. They don't fit with the ideal customer profile. We know that we can help other people and create a greater return, create greater value for their business than the person who's called up. So we turn them away. Clients that scream for no reason or try to get more for the same, you know, scope creep type, so we fire them. So I think I think it's understanding that what we tolerate today becomes what we're known for tomorrow. If that doesn't sound like a very bad business book.
It's I think it's universal. It's we are what we repeatedly do. It's,
Yes.
yeah, all that sort of stuff. What we tolerate is what we, yeah, I like that. What we are. Good. I think that point we have to leave. We have to say thank you very much indeed, and that G. Ranasinha, I hope you got your name perfectly right.
Absolutely couldn't be better.
Thank you very much indeed for joining me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you again for inviting me.